Hey guys, what is going on? It's Coach Will, and in today's video, I want to talk about what happens when leads dry up and what you should do next when it comes to focusing on how you want to drive traffic into your gym or small business and get more lead gen going, right? Okay, so I got a post here from a gym owner in our program in the Big Little Gyms Pro Group. If you're not in the Big Little Gyms Pro Group, you can go to biglittlegyms.com, learn more about what we do and how we do it, how we help gyms grow, and all the great systems that we provide the gyms that work with us. Inside this group, we have the opportunity to work closely with our gym owners and help them work through the peaks and valleys of gym ownership in regards to, acquiring more customers, keeping them longer, and making them worth more, and ultimately building a better, more profitable business. So Ben here, his question is, his post he made here in the BLG Pro Group, I figured it'd be a good one to expand on for everybody, not just gyms inside of Big Little Gyms, but for anybody who might be curious of how you should handle this kind of thing, because I just think it's valuable information. So Ben here, his post reads as such: September frustrations. My leads have dried up. Hey guys, I wanted to pick some brains and start some discussion. I had a really successful July and August. Lead generation from Facebook was producing steadily, good numbers, 8+ consultations a week with good conversion rate. And that is because he's been using our Facebook ads that we provide for our gyms. And then he said the last 3 weeks, everything seems to have dried up. We have updated the ads with new image and copy. We have multiple text blast automations. We have run a couple of email blasts. We have called back through old leads. And even new leads we call often don't pick up or are poorly qualified. He finishes this post by saying, are thinking of changing strategy to more info value giving, and hope this develops into organic leads, creating a new landing page and give value via emails. Have other people faced similar? What have they done to get through the dip, restart lead generation? Okay, cool. So this is kind of a it's like a multiple pronged answer, if you will, right? Because you got to look at the bigger picture of things outside of our control to some degree, right? So, it's not uncommon, when you have, say your business is propped up on like one lead source, say you're heavily generating leads from Facebook, for example, and that's your primary mechanism. It's really not uncommon for that thing, if it's been running hot for like 2 or 3 or 4 months these days, for the ads to cool down, especially during certain like seasonal times of the year, right? Because Facebook tends to lean into certain categories of ads during certain times of the year. There's certain times of the year like where Facebook will give a push behind a lot of fitness and wellness stuff. And there's certain times of the year where like whatever people are interested in, whatever they have the pulse on or whatever they want to shift the narrative to, they will show more of other stuff. And so stuff that otherwise may have been working may start to not work as well. Or it can also be a banner blindness thing, right? We have found with Facebook ads, really any paid ad platform where it works at scale, that generally, you need to give the ads a break after a couple months. You will start to get saturation in your market. You will start to get some banner blindness, meaning that like Facebook will keep pushing your ads out. And Facebook, the way it tends to do it tends to pick like an audience of people that think are the best fit for your ad based on the content and the relevancy of the ad. And it'll just keep hammering that market with the ad until people click, right? And once people have seen the same message for a while, they start to just not even see it at all, right? It's kind of like, the best way I can describe it is you're driving down the road, driving down the highway, you take the same highway to work every day, and whenever they put a new billboard up on that highway, whenever they change the billboard sign up, you'll realize there was a billboard there. You're like, oh, I didn't even realize there was a billboard there. Is that new? And it might have been there a decade. And then 2, you're like, oh, wow, look at the ad. You read everything about the ad. You can see what it's about. But then after like 2 or 3 weeks or even a couple months of driving past that billboard, like you forget that there's even a billboard there anymore, right? You get banner blindness, right? So it's called banner blindness. So that's a big part of it, right? There's also like the bigger seasonal trend of business. And this is what we had some great responses on from a couple other gym owners in the program that gave Ben feedback here. And that like, there is, gyms, if you're a gym owner and you're watching this, really a lot of different businesses have a seasonal nature to them, right? And generally for gyms, like summer, midsummer, late summer, can be a time of the year where things kind of get a little flat and stagnant, right? Looks like he's had good results through July and August, which is actually like kind of inverted, right? We actually kind of see the opposite. We see most gyms are kind of slow in the first part of the year through January, and then through February, March, and April, things really start to pick up for most gyms. Most people think that are not in the gym world that like January is a big month for gyms. It's actually usually not for most gyms. It's actually pretty slow build up. And it's usually by the end of the third quarter, beginning of the second quarter, that things start to pick up. And then there's a big trough in the summer, June, July, August, and sometimes September. And then usually by September, October, it starts to, with back to school season, really starts to pick up again. You kind of have almost like a second push for the year is like September, October. And then it cools back down in like November, December, back into the new year. And that cycle kind of repeats itself, right? And then you got to look at like your macroeconomic situations as well as how they might affect people as well, right? If the general economy is moving a certain way, that could cause certain seasons to prolong. It can cause people to be more tentative, things like that, right? So there's obviously a few variables here, right? Including like the ads themselves. Now, it sounds like Ben's doing all the right things here. He's looks like he's rotated his ad copy and his media, which is the imagery and the text that's in the ad, so it looks different, But ultimately, if it's the same offer and all you're doing is this direct response nature of marketing, and that's how you've been getting people, like people will tune out to that. When we have done ads for a lot of clients in the past, like no matter how good our ads are, they tend to be like a 4-month client. And the reason why is because it gets more challenging to work the leads after like the initial newness of the campaign wears off, and it's not bringing in like the hottest leads all the time, right? So that being said, what do we do in these situations? What do we start to put our energy into as gym owners? Well, what Ben said here is actually, I think he's onto it, right? So he says, our thinking of changing our strategy to more value, more info value given, and hope this develops into an organic leads, creating a new landing page and give value via emails. Yeah, I think that's generally the right move. You should be doing that anyways, right? Like organic and value driven content should ultimately be the base of all the traffic and how you talk to your local audience and how you build interest in your business is through organic, right? What a lot of businesses will do is organic takes work, right? You have to, make posts on social media. You have to, and that's really honestly where most of it is for gyms. I would say social media, Facebook, and Instagram, but then also even more importantly would be like Google, right? Like a lot of people will totally ignore Google, for example, right? And Google is actually as far as organic goes, is the number one place to put energy for a local business, right? For a local business, at the end of the day, the people that are looking for a gym, if you want good quality leads, which is what Ben is looking for here, if you want good quality leads, those are going to be, you're talking about wanting to get in front of the people that are searching for what you're selling, right? When we talk about a hot, cold, and a warm lead, a cold lead is someone that doesn't even know that they have a problem and doesn't even know who you are. A warm lead is someone who knows they have a problem but doesn't know who you are. A hot lead is someone that has a problem, knows who you are, and knows you can solve it, right? And someone who is a warm lead, if you want to get them to know who you are, you would go wherever they're searching for the solution, right? And if they have a problem because they're a warm lead, where do most people who have a problem go to look for a solution? Quicker than they can often think about it, they're just going to go to Google and type it in, right? Like most people don't go to social media. Most people don't go to their email inbox. Most people don't go to their whatever else channel. Where most people go when they're looking for a solution for a problem and they want to solve it now and they're ready to buy is they go to their phone and they don't even think about it as Google anymore. They just go to their phone and whatever browser they're on, at the top of the browser, rather than type in a domain, they type in what they're looking for. They type in things like gyms near me. They type in things like CrossFit gym or fitness studio or group exercise classes. And then what happens when they do that, if I were to show you here on my screen, if I were to go here and type in gyms near me, is up pops what's called the Google Map Pack right here. If I were to move this out of the way, this is what shows up at the top of a mobile device, and it shows all the nearest gyms to you. And if you're showing up in the top of this search and they're looking for a gym, and you have good reviews and good social proof, and all this is complete, then they're probably going to click on your gym and probably go to your website and opt in. What I noticed that Ben is doing is he's actually overthinking it, right? So he's like, I want to do a whole new landing page. Like he's really thinking about this in terms of offers, right? Like a good gym, if they're ranked very well organically on local search, really doesn't need to worry about like creating a urgency scarcity offer, because the reason why you create an urgency scarcity, copy driven offer is to take someone who is not warm and stick the knife in to say, hey, you have a problem than to twist the knife to say like, hey, you need to solve the problem. So they ultimately click on the link and go to your page and sign up to do business with your gym. That's great for cold traffic. But when you got warm traffic and you have great social proof, in the case of like someone searching here on Google for gyms near me, and then they see, okay, what pops up? Okay, Orange Theory or Mountainside, right? They click this, and then up this pops, and then they see all this, good reviews, social proof. They see all the things you do. This person now knows they have a problem, of course, otherwise they wouldn't be searching for it. They already have checked that box. They know that there are providers in the area, and then they now know you, right? So they're more than likely, as long as this looks good in here, they're going to click website, and they're going to end up on the website, and they're going to opt in. Now, if the website's built for lead generation, which in the case of Ben here, he works with us, and we've actually built his website for optimal lead generation. It's already a landing page. So he doesn't need to create a new landing page. He just needs to get traffic to that existing landing page. So in the situation of Ben here, I'm going to go ahead and just click on his and see what gym is his gym. Okay, so he is Revolution Fitness in Suffolk, UK. Let's just go to Ben's. Let's look him up and see what kind of work he's done over here, because I would guess that Ben has some work to do over here that he should probably put this energy into. Yeah, so if I get here, okay, so Revolution Fitness, if I click on this here, let's just see if we were to go to where his gym is and type in gyms in his city. Okay. On that search view, he comes up number 1, right? Zoom out a little bit. Let's just go to like his greater area here. So this is his city and his town. Let's search this area. Okay, so it comes up second. So that's pretty good. So if people are searching for gyms in his market, like he's popping up at the top and he's probably getting some clicks, right? Or at the very least, when they see clicks, they're opening this up, right? But like he's got 65 reviews. I would say he should definitely focus on getting more reviews, right? I would get this number up over 100 reviews. He's only got 61 photos. I would get this in those reviews. I would ask people, hey, can you take a photo here at the gym and post a photo here at the gym in your review? Because Google really likes those reviews a lot more. His website's already in here. Looks like he hasn't updated this since April 12th. So I would tell him to update this and just copy and paste the same post you're making on social media here in your Google business profile. Looks like he hasn't been super active in getting reviews recently, right? Most recent reviews 2 weeks ago. And then since then, 2 months ago, let's see here. 2 weeks ago, 4 months ago, 2 months ago, a month ago, a week ago, 3 weeks ago. So kind of sporadic. I would, it doesn't, because if he was actively working on this, you would see a lot more frequent reviews all the time, right? It looks like these are kind of coming in passively. So, because I'll tell you that like if you get this number up over 100 and you become the very top entrant up here, plus if you have a lot of recent reviews and you're sending people here all the time and people are seeing the social proof, more people in your local market are likely to, once they get on this page and see this, click through to your website and then opt in. And of course, they're going to land on this on the page that we have built here, the landing page, which this is already a great landing page. This is something here that you don't really need to change. I don't see what the point of building another landing page would be there. So like that's what I would focus on. Now, here's the thing about this is by going and doing this stuff, it's not going to all of a sudden like overnight make it rain with leads, right? This is organic work, which organic work is it's slow to achieve results. What I mean by that is like you can do a bunch of things on your Google business profile and like optimize it and be consistent about it. And it might take a month or two for it to start really rolling, to start seeing the benefit. And the reason why is because Google doesn't just like, you don't make these changes and Google just all of a sudden puts you at the very, very top. Now, given he's already near the top, so it's going good, but this is also for the word search for gyms. He may not be showing up as strongly for other types of fitness searches. Like if I were to type in group fitness in his market, let's see how he shows up then. He might be good. He might not be. Okay, so similar order there. Gym classes. Okay, so he comes at the top there. So you can see he's actually got very, very good placement. And that's probably because he works with us here at Big Little Gyms, and we got all the SEO stuff done on his site. But I would say that maybe people are seeing him here, and then they're not seeing enough social proof here to take that next step. He does have more reviews than most gyms locally, but I would say honestly more work on this would be, would be valuable. Now, here's what I also will add that I notice that makes me think a little bit when I look at this is that, So he's ranked number 1 or number 2 in his market for most of the things I searched for here. And he's in a pretty small market. If I look at this, it's not a big market. Now, if you're ranked number 1 or number 2 in your market, and you're probably going to see most of the traffic when traffic picks up because you're at the top, right? People click on you. Now, if you're at the top of your market and you're not seeing traffic during a certain time of year, then it's safe to bet that this is a seasonal, like people in the market are just not actively searching for gyms at the moment, right? The search volume is down. It's not of interest at the moment to them, right? So I would say that probably in this situation, say you are already here and you've already done this work, and say in Ben's case, he's run Facebook ads, he's out there buying traffic. He's done pretty good work here to build traffic on organic. He can do more, and I think he should put the effort in here to keep building this, because I think it still has room for improvement. And then there's a third way is you can go out and create traffic for yourself, right? You can go out and earn traffic. Now, how do you earn traffic? That's word of mouth, right? You can run a referral friend, bring a friend campaign, right? You can also, on social media, start being more intentful about educating your local audience. And then take some of those same posts and make those emails to some of your existing lists, which is some of what Ben was talking about doing. And then I would also say, you could also use this energy to, instead of focusing on, because a business can grow a couple of different ways, right? Ben's asking this question because, leads have dried up a little bit. It's a little bit of a slow time for his gym. But there's still 2 other ways that businesses, not just gyms, but there's still 2 other ways businesses make money besides just getting more customers. The 2 other ways are that you increase the value of your customer, right? So you find ways to sell them more things that they will find value and extract value out of the relationship, right? I give you something of more value and you pay me for that, right? So that's another way that you can generate revenue. And for my gyms, when I had my gyms, and a lot of our gym owners in our program, like Sandy here is actually sharing, relating with Ben here and saying like, hey, we had a similar situation last month. So I utilized the time to slow down and study up on atomic nutrition and launched my first bod squad. So far, it's yielded an extra $500 in revenue. And she's a very small gym, so $500 goes a long way for her. Right. So Ben could do the same thing. And we used to do that at our gym, was we would take the slower seasons and we would go and focus on increasing client value. We would focus on maybe launching a nutrition challenge internally, using the atomic nutrition stuff, or we would roll out additional programs or push personal training, or we would run a referral campaign as well. Right. So you can go and focus on increasing average client value and referrals during this period of time, which I highly recommend, because a lot of people who are focused on driving new members all the time don't focus on that stuff at all. When you have a gym where like you're building, you're just constantly dependent on new influx of members to grow. Sometimes that's all you think about. And when that slows down, you don't think about the other ways the business can make money. Now, the third way a business can make money outside of getting more customers and making them worth more is you can increase how long they stay for, right? If you're having to get more customers to survive or win, it's oftentimes because you're losing people, right? Like, and a lot of times businesses that are constantly running ads for offers also tend to have higher churn rates, right? I find the gyms that tend to bring in more clientele organically through like better content on social media, more like value driven, testimonial driven, social proof driven content, and also through organic search on like local search, those gyms tend to have much, much lower churn rates. Those gyms will lose members at less than a rate of 2% per month. So if they've got 200 members, they might only lose 4. And then when I find the gyms that are constantly running ads to get new clients, they start getting they get sucked into the higher volume nature of it, right? Like you get to sell more front end, which feels really, really good. Like you get addicted to it. But the problem is you have a lead that's much, much colder when you're converting them, because again, going back to what we said earlier, kind of the principles of it, when we bring in someone who is, a little colder, because people aren't on Facebook looking for gyms, right? Most of the leads you will get on Facebook when you're running ads on Facebook are not there looking for a gym. They might be thinking about, I need to be fitter. They might be on the internet and see, their friend Nancy is getting in shape, and that might be going on in their head. They might be like problem aware, but they're not really solution aware or looking for a solution at this time. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it, because as Ben shared here, he had a great July and August with running ads. So they obviously work, right? But, there's also this downside with ads that when like things like kind of slow down, they kind of almost shut off sometimes. And that's because like on Facebook, sometimes, people just aren't interested in that in your market at the time because of the seasonality, whatever else is going on, right? It might be in Ben's market because it is back to school season in September. In a lot of markets, that's a good thing. But in his market, it might actually be like pulling the market back a little bit, right? So it is an opportunity to evaluate and focus on other things. And I would in that situation, right? And so that would be my thoughts on this. As far as final thoughts, building that base of organic and taking those times of the slowdown seasons to, well, you should be always building your base of organic, right? Like again, back to my point of like what a lot of gyms are doing when they run ads is it's kind of like they got a hammer. Now everything looks for like a nail and they forget that there's other, use cases for a hammer, right? And in the situation, like, building your base of organic, I notice his reviews aren't consistent. So I would get more consistent about reviews. I wouldn't be out there. He's kind of like, it sounds like he's wanting to tinker. So he's like, changing strategy. But when he thinks about changing strategy, he's looking at this very much in a, landing page and value emails, right? And it's like, well, in a situation where the market's not really coming to us like this, we gotta have to create a market, right? So I might be out there on social media talking more about the problem, right? Sharing more social proof, sharing more testimonials, sharing more stuff, recognizing some of your existing members, focus on decreasing churn and maybe focusing on improving the customer retention numbers that you have, right? That we're not having to run ads and sell all the time to replace the people that are leaving just to stay even, right? That's a lot of times what gyms are doing when they're running ads is like they're having to they get to a point where they're running ads just to replace the people they know they're going to lose every month because they have a lot of cold traffic coming in, and then focus more on the organic, warm and hot traffic that's looking for you and position yourself more in front of that. And then on social media where people aren't necessarily looking for a gym, building more content that educates, that talks about the pain points and educates people on how to solve it and offering yourself up as a solution versus just running ads to an offer that's more of a pitch, right? So that's my thoughts here on what Ben should do and any gym owner in this situation. And that's why I wanted to record this video for anybody who is a client who's active in our program here at Big Little Gyms. We have over 700 active gym owners in our program here at Big Little Gyms as we speak. And we have thousands that follow outside on the outside here that are, looking for advice. And when, a lot of people watch our videos, they're very much always looking for like what's going to be the fastest, quickest path to grow the business. But what I'll tell you is what's the fastest isn't always going to be the most sustainable, right? Running ads is, I think, an important part of any business, but it needs to be done in balance with some of those other things, those more like fundamental, organic, brand building. And when I say brand building, I don't mean like what your business is called and the logo and the colors and all that stuff, but like, how you talk about your product and how you differentiate yourself in the market. Because at the end of the day, if the market is shrinking and everybody looks the same, then you're kind of all breaking up what small pie there is, versus like if you were to go out there and talk about how you're different and create a new blue ocean for everybody that's just gets people excited about what's available in the market, then you're going to create a pocket of people that isn't looking at everybody else and just looking at what you're doing because it's new and different, right? I think that's very, very important to focus on as gym owners and business owners, and it's how we talk about our business and how we get people to relate to our business as being different in the market and creating a blue ocean. So that's it, guys. If you're a gym owner and you're not actively working with Big Little Gyms, please go to biglittlegyms.com. When you get there, you can see a little bit about what we're doing, what we do, how we do it, some social proof there about clients we've served and results that they've gotten. You can click the Get Started button when you get there. When you click that button, a form will pop up, and it will just ask you for name, phone number, email, and we'll send you some more information. After you fill that out, it'll take you over to book an intro. If you'd like, you can book a discovery call with our team and meet with us, and we'll sit down, talk to you about your current situation, your desired situation, ask you a little bit about what you're doing about it. And if it makes sense, we'll show you what we do here at Big Little Gyms. We're not here to high pressure sell any gym owner out there. There's a million gurus out there trying to high pressure sell you high ticket products. We have a over $3 million a year company serving several hundred gyms. And what I can tell you right now is selling one more customer for us isn't going to make or break us. At the end of the day, we want long-term relationships with people that trust us and gym owners that want to win and build a culture and a tribe of gym owners that are here to share their wins and motivate others on the journey. And at the end of the day, it's just staying a step ahead of the game here, right? So go to biglittlegyms.com, biglittlegyms.com, and we'll see you soon. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.